Next up in Deaf Crocodile's The Time-Bending Mysteries of Shahram Mokri is 2013's Fish and Cat. Now this is a 142-minute movie. Now the reason I stress the time is because this is a one-take film. It's set at a kind of remote region where a group of students are there to do a kite-flying event, and near that is a restaurant. And we hear that this is a true story and that the restaurant was using humans for their meat substitute. And this is a highly unique and engaging film. It feels like an Iranian art house take on Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
شمنگل جا داریم میخوایم بریم اونجا؟
بله یعنی نه میخوایم ویلا بگیریم.
This is a movie where people are probably being murdered and used for meat, but we never focus on that. You never see the deaths. There is just this looming air, this atmosphere where you feel like everything's just not quite right. Something is going on here and it's having a effect on everything. It's an unsettling idea. But also what makes this completely unique is the use of time and how it changes its linear focus throughout the film. It's incredibly well done and fascinating to keep an eye on. So we have this kind of standard location round about the lake, and you can get the geography of it. But what we'll find is we follow characters as they walk and talk, as they interact with other people, and as they meet up with groups. We will then follow someone else away and they'll meet up to someone else and we'll follow that person, and then we'll find ourselves back at that initial group conversation as we start to follow other people away. It's very fluid and very interesting the way they do this.
دیدم تشکر نکردین، فکر کردم ناراحت شدین.
مرسی از لطفتون.
Now there are long moments of characters just walking and talking or walking in similar locales, which pads out the runtime a little bit. But as a direction standpoint, I find it fascinating to see how they've actually constructed this film and made it work. And for the most part, it's a film that feels almost plotless. You have the idea of this restaurant at the start, of these people who are quite unsettling, of something that's just not quite right here, but it never fully comes out and stresses or shows you what that is. You're just left with this knowing feeling that something is wrong in this film.
شما دارین اینجا چی کار میکنی؟
بیشتر شب خواب بدی میبینی. خواب شما افتاده بودیم اونجا اون گوشه، بعد گربه هم دور و بر تو میچرخید.
And you just kind of see these characters as they interact, as they talk about the kite competition, as they talk about local events, as they talk about their love lives, as they talk about other people that are there, and how we kind of camera moves and we find other people to follow. It's so incredibly well done and fascinating, and was something that I was completely and utterly hooked on. It was a fascinating movie. Just the idea of the one take is something that's been done before, but with this broken linear narrative I found to be completely and utterly fascinating. I was hooked on this Fish and Cat.
همه این اتفاقات درست بعد از اون میفته که حمید چاقو رو از آستینش بیرون میاره.
The characters were interesting. The situation and conversations were intriguing. It was always interesting to see how the director was going to somehow tie things together or to create this fractured narrative that somehow comes together in a marvellous way. Was wonderful. And although it doesn't have a strong plotted narrative all the way through it, I really didn't care. It was a movie that definitely gets by on its mood, its atmosphere, and was unsettling but enthralling at the same time. This was a completely unique film again, and I was wowed with Fish and Cat. I would strongly recommend checking this out if you get the chance. It is long, There are moments where, like I said, we have characters just walking for periods of time. But it's so unique and interesting. I'd love to know your thoughts on Fishing Cat. If you have seen it, let me know in the comment box below whether you loved it, whether you hated it. Feel somewhere in the middle. I want to know all your opinions here. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are linked to Patreon, membership program, manvfilm.com always, in which you can support me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.